What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video we are at Fargo Hector International Airport for the third airport update for the month of May 2025. Got a loaded update, a full terminal, and a different Delta Mainline aircraft, and some other changes happening around the airport. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started down at gate number 1, where we find, instead of a 739, we have an A321 from Delta Airlines. This aircraft arrived in from Minneapolis is flight 2295 at 11:35 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 11:56 p.m. arrival. All the flights in this update are from May Day, the first day of May. So this MSP mainline, as you see here, predominantly it's on the 737-900, but I saw that they will swap in an occasional A319 or an A320, or even an A321 here as shown in this update. So this is pretty exciting. Nice to get some variety for our Delta mainline. And I'll move on over to gate number 2, if I can get out of the way of some of the other aircraft that are presenting themselves here on the diorama. At gate 2, we find our other Minneapolis service, the Connection 175, arriving in as flight 3771. This is a SkyWest operative flight landing at 12:07 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 12:22 p.m. arrival. So no major changes to the Connection service, occasional swap between the 175 and the CRJ 900, so not much to report on for the smaller aircraft. And same goes for the DFW mainline, or not mainline, the DFW service out of gate 3. This arrived in as flight 3625, an Envoy operated flight, arriving in a bit behind schedule by about 28 minutes at 1:08 p.m. 3 daily for the Embraer 175s from DFW to Fargo. Still no word on a mainline service here. I think Fargo definitely deserves a mainline service for American. So maybe that's something that they will consider once this terminal expansion opens. They might increase capacity into Fargo. And then moving into our United section, here at gate 4, we have this United CRJ 700 in this case. This arrived in from Chicago O'Hare as flight 5901, a SkyWest operated flight, arriving in at 6:38 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 6:43 p.m. arrival. And then our United mainline, parked at gate 5 as per usual, the A319 today from Denver as flight 1351, and this arrived in at 8:08 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 8:14 p.m. arrival. We'll have some news on Frontier, since they are going to be adding some extra frequencies later in the summer. And as you'll note, for our arriving aircraft, which cannot take any gates of the terminal on this diorama since they're all occupied, is that they are flipped in the opposite direction because taxiway Tango has been closed, which would be off this direction over here where that Allegiant aircraft is at. So that means they're all having to come in from the north on taxiway Juliet. So they would come in from this direction and then turn in like that before they could get to the gates here. So that means departing aircraft are going to have to wait over here, at least on my makeshift diorama. Will place them over there, and yeah, they'll just have to wait until these aircraft are able to take a gate. But for the moment, we do have our arriving aircraft, and we'll start off with this E319 for Allegiant Air coming in from the Music City, flight 359. And this arrived in the morning at 8:18 a.m. ahead of a scheduled 9 a.m. arrival. And in real life, November 302 November Victor, still wearing the Vegas Golden Knights special livery. And they just defeated the Minnesota Wild in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So congrats to them. A bit unfortunate for me because I am a bit of a Minnesota sports fan, though. Admittedly, I do not follow hockey that much, but I've started to follow in recent years thanks to a couple good friends who are just big hockey fans. They've gotten me into the sport now, so hopefully I'm able to watch more hockey action. I was actually just watching the Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues game right before I started recording this video, so that's always fun to keep up with. So hopefully somebody makes the Vegas Golden Knights A319. That'd be great to see. I know Panda did the Las Vegas Raiders one, which I still have yet to get, so hopefully at Airliners this year in Atlanta I'll be able to pick that one up. Now, as for the Nashville service, this will be a twice-weekly frequency, Sundays and Thursdays, a very typical schedule for Allegiant. And then moving over to our Frontier service, we have the A320neo from Denver today, flight 4794, no changes there. At 4:59 p.m. ahead of a scheduled 5:11 p.m. arrival, this aircraft came in. Now, there isn't any changes to the flight number, of course, but there are changes to the frequency. Through the middle of May, they're going to do twice weekly, Sunday, Thursday, but they will add additional frequencies on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday heading into June. So basically operated every day of the week, but Saturday and Wednesday at this point. So good to see that they are adding some extra frequencies for all the summer demand. And hopefully we'll be able to get to Denver very soon, because that is an airport that I have been meaning to go to, and especially with Frontier, with their low fares, easy to get on a flight, perhaps make a day trip out of it, but who knows, maybe something will come up later. But at any rate, we move on to our final aircraft for this update, which is going to be departing today. This Allegiant A320 is going to Phoenix Mesa as Flight 2301, and it departed at 1 p.m., delayed from a 12:49 p.m. scheduled arrival. So this aircraft is delayed by 11 minutes. So there's Fargo, update number 3 for this series. Really good to get this into a consistent groove. And I talked about last month how I really wanted to see a Cessna 408 Sky Courier for FedEx in 1:400 scale. Well, Tarmax Designs just released a model of it. So I have that on order by the time this video goes out, and it should be arriving sometime later this week, maybe early next week, just depends on when it gets sent out. But hopefully it's quick, and I should have that unboxing out no later than the end of the weekend if it is sent out rather quickly. So super excited to add another FedEx feeder aircraft. That Cessna 208 is lovely. I'll probably have to get a second one, so maybe I'll do that. I guess we'll just see how I feel. But at any rate, it's really good to get to Fargo once again with all the changes going on. And just a quick construction update as well before I end the video here. Took this a couple days ago, but great progress being made on the terminal once again. It looks like they've installed the glass panes on the exterior windows. Looking really good. You can see the interior structure still present, so as they continue to make progress on that, great to see it. And then the parking garage, no major changes on the outside, so I won't show that, but interior work still ongoing. That should be opening here very soon, so super excited for that, and we'll see what that looks like on the inside when that does open. So that's it for this month's Fargo Airport update. We'll be back in June, hopefully with another loaded update. A great schedule for sure. And I should also mention as well, so another thing before I go, New Pacific sent a 757 here, and I don't have a model of that, so I can't represent that. What can you do? But now we're finally done with this Fargo update, so thanks for sticking around with me here, especially through the spring semester, which has been pretty busy for me, but I feel like I did a really good job of keeping up with all my YouTube stuff and just making sure that everything gets out on time. So as I head into the summer, I'll have a lot more time on my hands, and I'll be able to pump out even more videos, especially towards the latter half of the year. More details on that coming soon. With that being said, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.